presets. Now this is very key. In this section of the keyboard is where the presets live, okay? And then this is going to be your friend for quickly finding sounds that you need. What you need to know first is about live mode. Live mode is governed in this little box here. And what live mode is it's unsavable patches or settings. If I untick live mode, so if I come out of live mode, I've got a whole load of presets and settings that I can choose from. And if you'll notice as I scroll through these, like lots of different lights are coming up, loads of things are changing. These are things that have been saved by different people, different kind of sounds and that kind of stuff. If I press live mode, then all of those settings are forgotten and whatever I last did is what is remembered. So this is actually really useful if you don't want to get into saving presets and stuff. You just want to make, say, 1 or 2 sounds that you're happy with. So I've been on live mode and number 2. So that means that whatever changes I make, so maybe I want the piano to be a bit louder, I want to put some synths on, I want to put some echo, some delay on, and I want to put some reverb on. So we've got that. Okay, that's my live mode. That's kind of my setting that I'm going to use. And what I can do is really helpful. Do almost like one of these for each song, perhaps. So if I press 1 now, all of that stuff's forgotten that I just set. And now this is a whole different sound. You'll notice that this is one where the piano is shifted down an octave. Maybe this is really nice if I want to do some rich piano playing. So maybe that was my first song, and now cleverly I can go back to number 2, which is where I had my other setting. That was the setting we just made. And you'll notice that I haven't had to do any saving. I haven't had to do shift save or like name anything. I can just flick between my settings and almost create them on the fly, and I don't have to save as I go. It's kind of like auto save on a Google Doc. I wanted to make a third patch. Let's see how this is sounding. Okay, that's a piano. I think it's down an octave. I want it to go up an octave. It's an upright, it's a brighter one. I like that. I'm going to put some reverb on this, some quite strong reverb. Nice, so that's my third song. So first song, second song, third song. So you see how easy and quick it is to make 3 different kind of patches. Now, of course, to do this, you have to know how each individual element of the keyboard works. Now, let's come out of live mode and talk about presets. So if I untick live mode, now you'll see the name of a preset here. Very simply, we have 4 program banks, A, B, C, and D, and within each program bank, so it's like a kind of category, we have loads and loads and loads and loads of presets. In A is all the Nord inbuilt presets. I would not use those ever. In program bank B is all the user and KXC programs that I've been saving. So if you flick all the way back to the start, you get to B, which is program bank B. 1 is kind of like category 1, and then preset 1. Within B, there's a whole load of categories, one up to however many, and then within each of those categories, I think there's 5 presets, and they relate to these 5 buttons. Remember, we're not in live mode, so these buttons are talking about presets now, not live mode. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then if I go to the next program page, you'll notice that this goes to 2, back to 1 to 2, and now I've got 5 more. So you can either use these arrows and these buttons, or you can just use this knob to go through all of them kind of chronologically. So let's just think about each one of these. There's just a few that I want to bring your attention to. So Worship Barn, this is Barnabas Shaw's kind of go-to worship sound. I think it's great. It's like a felt piano. The piano's fully up, and then he's got some synth underneath. Let's just take the piano off and listen to the synth. Now, that's so quiet, it's almost inaudible, so let me turn that up. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's still really quiet. Now, the reason is because the frequency here, do you remember about that, is quite low down, so it's cutting off loads of the frequency. It's very, very mellow. So if I'm going to take the overall volume to the middle, and now if I move this frequency up a bit, you'll be able to hear it better and even more. It's getting brighter and brighter. It's a really nice pad sound, but let's just recall this preset. So it's got the piano, and it's basically just got some very low level synth. So I think Barnabas has created this just for piano with a tiny bit of synth underneath, and he can increase the synth a little bit if he wants. So very quickly you can get a really nice worshipful sound. Let's have a look at the next preset. This is a Bubba preset. I think that's just piano, and maybe a little bit of synth again. Next one is Bubba Rhodes. Nice Rhodes sound that he likes. Bubba Dark piano. And I notice he's got some organ on here as well, if you want to blend some organ in. And number 5, chorus piano. A bit more of a honky-tonk kind of piano. Let's go to the next next program page. This is where I've put some KXC stuff. So, number 1 is KXC piano pad. That's a bit of piano, bit of pad. Now, this is where my wheel over here controls the frequency. As I'm turning this wheel, it turns the frequency knob up and down. So let's just listen to the pad and move the wheel. Basically makes it a little bit more aggressive. If I just recall the preset, it's got a bit of piano and a bit of synth underneath it. Now, unfortunately, when you recall the preset, it doesn't recall the position of this wheel. So if I recall the preset, and the wheel's all the way up here, and it's quite an abrasive sound. If I move the wheel down, and now just isolating the pad has a lot more of a gentle sound. So when you recall this preset, you do have to just check where this wheel is as well, so just bear that in mind. And that is the same for 2, 3, 4, and 5. We've got a few different pad sounds. Pad 2, pad 3, pad 4, and then back to pad 1 on number 5. And this is without piano. So if you want to just have some pad sounds, make sure this wheel is in the right position. That's the first, that's pad 2, pad 3. This one is a far gentler one, so you need that wheel to be up a bit more. And number 5 is a bit more of a aggressive sounding synth. So a few different options there. Finally, on program page 3, we've got Barnes pad, which is nice. And again, this wheel controls how lively that is. And you could put some piano on the top. So, those are our presets. Feel free in the following program pages, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, program page 4 onwards, please feel free to learn how to save your own presets and put them in here. So if you want to figure that out, then please go ahead and do that. Otherwise, just use some of the presets that we've got here. There's one more thing I want to talk about that's really important, and that is keyboard split. So let's start with this piano. Now, the Nord allows you to be able to split the keyboard, and you use these buttons here to split the keyboard. Now, I'd say it's a bit more advanced, but just as a very brief overview, and so that at least you know what's going on if a keyboard is split and you don't know how to get out of it. If I press this button, this tells the Nord that we want to split the Nord into 2 places. And this light comes on here. This shows where the split point is. Finally, you'll notice there's 3 lights up here. And now what this does is this tells the Nord where I want the piano to be. At the moment, all 3 lights are lit up. So that means that the piano is not only on the lower zone, below this light, but it's also on the upper zone. This is the on-off button, but if I do like a double press on this on-off button, then you'll notice that this now lights up just the low. So what that means is that the piano is only going to play on the low bit of the split. Whereas if I play up here on the high bit, there is no piano. So it's all down here. And it stops here. If I turn off the keyboard zones, then suddenly we're back to normal. But if I turn it on again, then I've got no piano here. Now you might think, oh, why is this useful? Well, it might be that you want piano down here, and you want synth perhaps up high. So if I now turn on synth and I do a double press, it's now on the low bit. I don't want that. I want it to be on the upper bit. So I double press again, and now it's on the upper and the high bit. So because we're only split into 2, these two are kind of like together. Piano on the bottom, and synth on the top. You might not want to use that, but it's really helpful to know that that is a feature on the Nord and to almost know how to undo it. So I can press that and then I'm back to my 3 lights on the piano, get rid of my synth, and I've got a piano sound. Thanks so much, guys. I hope that that gives you a decent overview